Jaya Yamuna अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय नितिल्ला प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। धर्माचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगामयी यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। श्री श्री राधा वल्लभ की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमयी की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्री श्री गुरु एन गौरांग और गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद। वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4. Jagarrasamarsa vipannaya Shivadvipam dhūmamasmayam Shvetejasa bhuvibhan srinvata Jagarrasamarsa vipannaya gira Shivadvisam Swete Bhutagana Devi Jagato Srinvata Nigrira Swete Jasa Bhutagana Samuttitan Nigriha Devi Jagato Srinvata Jagato Visrinvata. Mataji. Jagarha Samar Savipannaya Gira Shivadvitam Bhumapatasramasmayam Igriha Devi Jagato Visrinvata Jagarha Samara Savipannaya Gira Shiva Dvisam Dhumapatha Sarasmayam Swatejasa Bhutaganan Samuttitan Nigriha Devi Jagato Visrinvata. Word for words. Jagraha. Begin to condemn. Sa. See. Amarsha Vipannaya, indistinct through her anger. Gira, with words. Shivadvisham, the enemy of Lord Shiva. Dhumapatha, in sacrifices. Srama, by troubles. Smayam, very proud. Swatejasa, by her order. Bhutagana, the ghosts. Samuttithan, ready to injure Daksha. Nigriha, stopped. Devi, Sati. Jagata, in the presence of all. Avistranvataha, being heard. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The followers of Lord Shiva, the ghost, were ready to injure or kill Daksha, but Sati stopped them by her order. She was very angry and sorrowful, and in that mood she began to condemn the process of sacrificial fruitive activities and persons who are very proud of such unnecessary and troublesome sacrifices. She especially condemned her father, speaking against him in the presence of all. Please respond. The followers of Lord Shiva, the ghost, were ready to injure or kill Daksha, but Sati stopped them by her order. She was very angry and sorrowful. And in that mood, she began to condemn the process of sacrificial fruitive activities. And the person who were very proud of such unnecessary, troublesome sacrifices. She especially condemned her father, speaking against him in the presence of all. Purport. The process of offering sacrifice is especially meant to satisfy Vishnu, who is called Yagyesha, because he is the enjoyer of fruits of all sacrifice. Bhagavad Gita 5.29 also confirms this fact. The Lord says, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam. He is the actual beneficiary of all sacrifices. Not knowing this fact, less intelligent men offer sacrifices for some material benefits. To derive personal material benefit for the sense gratification is the reason for the persons like Daksha and his followers perform sacrifices. Such sacrifices are condemned here as a labor of love without actual profit. This is confirmed in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. One may prosecute the Vedic injunction of offering sacrifices and other fruitive activities, but if by such activities one does not develop the attraction for Vishnu, they are useless labor. One who has developed love for Lord Vishnu must develop love and respect for Lord Vishnu's devotees. Lord Shiva is considered the foremost personality amongst the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam yatha sambho. Thus, when Sati saw that her father was performing great sacrifices but had no respect for her greatest devotee, Lord Shiva, she was very angry. This is befitting. When Vishnu or a Vaishnava is insulted, one should be angry. Lord Chaitanya, who was always preaching the non-violence, meekness and humility, also became angry when Lord Nityananda was offended by Jagai and Madhai. And he wanted to kill them. When Vishnu or Vaishnava is blasphemed or dishonored, one should be very angry. Narottam Das Thakur says, Krodha bhakte dvesi jane. We have anger, and that anger can be great quality when directed against the person who is envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees. One should not be tolerant when a person is offensive towards Lord Vishnu or Vaishnava. The anger of Sati towards her father was not objectionable. For although he was her father, he was trying to insult the greatest Vaishnava. Thus, Sati's anger against her father was quite appallable. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitan Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadagamanam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakamitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tatpa Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpaturu Vescha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I was listening one lecture by His Grace Radhika Raman Prabhu. He was mentioning how in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam there are so many meters used on slokas. If generally in other Puranas or other literatures, Mahabharata, like there's almost one anustam is used, one very simple meter. When and then in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam he mentions that there's about 8 different meters are used to recite these different narration of pastimes of different personalities. And he mentions, see, this sloka it's like not the normal, like, Dharma Chetra, Kuru Chetra, it's just a simple meter. And this goes different level, second level of a meter. So as these slokas are used by this Vyasadeva, because when the subject matter gets more intense, and then the meter of the slokas also goes up higher. So, as you can see, this is a very intense, we're getting to the point of intense subject matter, where Sati has reached the sacrificial arena of her father, where she was not invited. And not only her, and her husband, Lord Shiva, was also not invited. Because this is the second sacrifice being performed by Daksha. So, and in the first one, we heard that Lord Shiva was insulted and Lord Shiva left the arena. And when the second sacrifice was performed, they were not invited. But seeing the other demigods, and different personalities who were going to attend this sacrifice, Mother Sati also requested Lord Shiva to go. And Lord Shiva advised her, it may not be beneficial for you, suggested that it will be unpleasant, knowing he's the he can see the future. So he did warn her. So it's going to be unpleasant. Despite she came, now she's been accompanied by different the associates of Lord Shiva, Maniman, Mada, Ghost, and Yakshas, Nandi. These are different personalities accompanied. So today we're hearing that she was upset because when she came, all the sacrifice was being performed. In the sacrifice, there was no oblation or no respect was given to Lord Shiva. She was very upset with especially her father, as Prabhupada mentioned, that so she is, at this sloka here, we can hear, we're seeing that she, knowing the mood, knowing that the emotion, what Sati is going, her followers, Lord Shiva's followers, are just about to attack Daksha. Here, and Sati actually stops them, not to create any disturbance. So in the Prabhupada makes point, these sacrifice, I was looking the actual definition, the meaning of a sacrifice in a dictionary. It says give up something valued for sake of other consideration. So how did the purpose of sacrifice, as Prabhupada mentions, is to give up our own false ego and pride and all those things, and then worship something better, or offer that result. So who is the beneficiary, as Prabhupada mentioned? So this is sacrifice being performed in Satyuga. This pastime is taking place in Satyuga. So as we know, we have different processes for a different yuga. So sacrifice, which yuga is the yuga dharma of the sacrifice? Treta Yuga. Yes, this is for Treta Yuga. And so why we don't perform sacrifice in this age? Because no qualified brahmanas are available, and no qualified brahmanas can perform, because these performances, these rituals, these sacrifices are very it requires a high caliber qualified brahmana who know the 4 Vedas in depth, and also to perform these sacrifices it requires the ingredients, the place, and all the environment is not conducive nowadays. So therefore, in this age, we do not perform a sacrifice. We don't have. So even to perform, as we read in Srila Prabhupada's purport few slokas back, that one of the tests for the brahmanas who are performing these yagyas is that to revive those animals who are being killed. It's like Ashwamedha Yagya, Gomedha Yagya, or any other animal sacrifice, or goat, any animals that are being killed. This is to test the Brahman's qualification if they are performing these yagyas correctly. If it is done correctly, then these animals who are actually killed, they get a new body, and they are promoted into, or if not, they get promoted into a different human body too. So this is one of the tests. So I don't think so we have any brahmanas that can actually perform such sacrifices, that if the animals are killed in a sacrifice, and they're able to revive and give them a new body. So therefore, in this age, we cannot It's mentioned that there are about 4 qualified performers of the yajna is required. One is called Hota. Hota is in charge, he is the master. He knows the Rig Veda in such a in depth that he is in charge of reciting the slokas, the verses from the Rig Veda. And there is another one is called Advaryu, who is in charge of reciting the Yajurveda. Similarly, we have Udgatri, who is in charge of Samaveda. And there is a 4th one is Brahma, who actually is in charge of the Atharva Veda, as well as Brahma is in charge of conducting the whole sacrifice in the perfect and is done according to what is prescribed. So he looks after. He's a monitor. He's the superintendent of that sacrifice. So such qualified personalities are not available in this age. Therefore, we do not perform. And in the past, in the history, we learned that these performances were carried out. And if one able to perform 100 Ashwamedha Yajna, that person is qualified to take the position of Indra. In such like Prithu Maharaj, who actually performed such sacrifices, and the Indra even tried to steal or disturb so he was being envious that Prithu Maharaj might take his position, so he steals the horse and creates a disturbance. We hear another incident where Maharaj Sagar performing a similar sacrifices. Indra again tries to steal the horse, puts it into Lord Kapila Dev's ashram, and there is a whole history of how Ganges is coming to. So similarly, there was another king who's we find in 9th canto, King Nahusa, who actually managed to do all 100 Ashwamedha Yagas perfectly. So when Indra was disqualified when Indra killed Vitrasura, because Vitrasura is actually a son of a sage, a Brahmana. Also, he killed his Twasta. Is it Twasta? Yeah. Twasta. And the killing of a Brahmana the sin was there. Therefore, he was disqualified to actually be Indra. So for a short period of time, he was disqualified. He had to go in exile. At that time, the only person who was qualified was the King Nahusa. And he takes the position position of Indra to manage the affairs of the demigods. But there's a whole history how he also made an offense to Vasishtha and other sages, so he gets disqualified, and Indra gets restored. So it's a long story, so I won't go into that. So as these sacrifices these yagyas were a valid means of gaining a specific spiritual attainments in different ages. So these, as Prabhupada mentions in the quotes of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita, the verse from Bhoktaram Yagitapasam, the Lord Vishnu is the ultimate beneficiary of these yagyas. It's not demigods or anything. You get the result. But who is the ultimate beneficiary? Lord Vishnu. Bhoktaram, Krishna, he says that I am the Bhokta of Yagya and Tapasa. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I am the Lord of the all planetary system. Sarva Loka means the all planetary systems and demigods. Yeah? And he is the Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the benefactor and a well-wisher of all living entities. Yeah? Gyatva mam santimirchati. If one knows this fact, attains the peace from pangs of material miseries. So in the Prabhupada again makes another point that if such activities one does not develop attraction for Lord Vishnu, it's a simply useless labor. If our activities are not to please Lord Vishnu or Krishna, and these activities are simply useless labor. That there is he's quoting the verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1st canto, Dharma svanishita pumsham Vishwaksena katha swaya na utpadayat yadi ratim srama evahi kevalam. If dharma or the occupation of the humankind, it's not provoking attractions, the message of Vishwaksena or Krishna or Vishnu, if this does not, then it is a srama evai kevalam, which is simply useless labor. This is also confirmed in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So, in the 11th canto, King Nimi asked this question to Navi Yogendras. Yeah. He asked the questions, what are the different ages? And in the different ages, who are the worshipable lords? What is the means of spiritual attainment? So while he describes the different ages, and for Kali Yuga, this is where the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is made. Krishna varnam tusha krishnam sango parshadam yagyai sankirtanai prayar yajantihi sumedasa. So what is the yagya of this age? Yagyai sankirtanai prayar. It's a sankirtan. That is the yagya of this age. We are living in the Kali Yuga, and this is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga is Sankirtan. So those who are Sumedasa, the Medasa means intelligence. When Su is applied for, it means the very intelligent. Very intelligent people will worship Lord. Yajanti hi. Yajanti means worship. Sumedasa, those who are intelligent, what is the means of worship? Is Sankirtan. Yagyai Sankirtanai prayar. So it is this Yoga Dharma is Sankirtan. Prabhupada makes another very good point that when Vishnu or a Vaishnava is blasphemed or dishonored, one should be very angry. So he gives example of Jagai and Madhai, how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. These Jagai and Madhai were physically living there, up until the point they physically attacked and blasphemed they were living there. There were nothing there. So when they actually physically attacked Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, Lord Chaitanya almost killed him. Of course, Lord Nityananda, being very merciful, stopped Lord Chaitanya and asked for forgiveness. So similar cases being here, where Lord Shiva is being insulted by Daksha. Therefore, Mother Sati is defending this principle of Vaishnava Aparadha. So Srila Prabhupada quotes in the purport that Narottam Das Thakur says, Krodha Bhakta Dvaishi Jani. That there Kam, Krodh, Lo, Moha, different vices are within us. How do we use? Narottam Das Thakur says, this Krodha is used when we have anger. We have anger. That anger can be great quality when directed against the person who is envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is when the Krodha is used. Narottam Das Thakur is one of the greatest Acharya in our line of Gaudiya Vaishnava. He was a son of a king. Before even he appeared, Lord Chaitanya predicted he was taking a bath in the river Padma, and at that time actually he said Narottam. He was searching for Narottam. When he was asked by his devotees, there's no one by name, by Narottam. How come you're saying Narottam? Mahaprabhu said there will be a great Vaishnava who will appear in the future. And these Vaishnava, so even Mahaprabhu left his love, prema, in this. And so when Narottam appears, and when he takes bath in this river, he will attain this love of Godhead. So such great personality is Narottam Das Thakur. He later on, he's a son of a king. He appears as the son of a king in a kingly royal family. Later on, he gets educated. He goes to Vrindavan. He serves Loknath Goswami. He takes an initiation. Initially, Loknath Goswami, he said, "No, I will not initiate you." For after serving many years, and then many years of service, finally, even Lord Chaitanya asks him to, in a dream, to give him initiation. So like that, Narottam Das Thakur he stays in Vrindavan. He also takes the instructions from the Jiva Goswami. He takes Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Pandit, and Srinivas Acharya. They were the three prominent Acharya at the time who together studied these Vedic scriptures and learned under the guidance of Jiva Goswami. So when they returned back, they were told to take all the works of the Goswamis and to West Bengal and take and distribute and preach. Narottam Das Thakur actually goes to his place, I think it's ashram, is that right? Narottam Das Thakur preaches in that region. So Narottam Das Thakur is a very great Vaishnava. Prabhupada quotes this as so this I was looking at where this was quoted, the verse. This verse is quoted in Bhakti Chandrika by Narottam Das Thakur. And he says, how do we use these vices we have? Kam, Krodh, Lo, Moha, Acharya. So Narottam Das Thakur actually writes in the Bengali sloka in his Bhakti Chandrika. The last, I will engage in offering the fruits of my work in Krishna. So last is he's engaging his service to. That's how he's saying that's how you use the last. Anger, as Prabhupada quotes in the verse, he says, Krodha Bhakta Dveshe Jani. If anger I will direct towards the enemies of the devotees. Yeah. Greed, I will engage by being greedy to hear the topics of Krishna. As Prabhupada also mentioned again, it was a Vishwaksena Katha Suya of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, that our life is useless if we don't have the attraction to hear the glories of the Bhagavatam. So the greed is he's engaging in the hearing the topics of similarly, bewilderment will be manifested because I cannot immediately attain my worship of a Lord. Madness will be there when I madly glorify the transcendental attributes of the Lord Krishna. So in this way, Narottam Das Thakur gives us instruction how these different vices can be utilized in the Krishna service. Another very instructive on that same Bhakti Chandrika song, the song, another very instructive verse. He writes, "Achat sanga sada tyaga chhada anya gitar gan karmi jani parihari dure kevala bhakta sanga prema katha rasa ranga lila katha brajarasa pure." Always reject the company of impious. Asat sanga sada tyaga. Give up the attraction for non-devotional sounds. Chhada anya gita raga. And he says, don't give up. Leave the karmis and gyanis far away. Only associate with the devotees. Take pleasure in hearing the nectar, description of pure love for Krishna. Become flooded by the nectar of narration of Lord's pastime in Braj. This is another instruction that, and the same, what the verse Prabhupada quotes that the Bhakta Krodha Jane, I think that, yeah. So that's on that. This is the series of verses that I thought maybe it's very instructive for us to. So and then another verse he says, "Don't sin. Take no interest in profit, adoration, and distinction. Na karivas asat cheda labha prati puja pratishta." So don't take any interest in profit, adoration, distinction. Instead, meditate on the lotus feet of Govinda. In this way, all sufferings will go away in the transcendental bliss of pure love of Krishna and will spontaneously come. So like that, so Narottam Das is giving us the instructions how important it is to associate, remain in association of devotees, and the blasphemy of a devotee is one of the greatest thing that we should be avoiding. So therefore, here we're hearing this whole narration to one of the purpose or teaching of this particular section, this pastime, is that to how we learn how not to create do a Vaishnava aparad. This is the lessons we're learning from the pastimes of Daksha, Sati, and Lord Shiva. This is what it is. And again in Narottam Das Thakur, another song by him, Evara Karuna Kara, he's asking, Vaishnava is such an exalted position. It's not an ordinary, being a Vaishnava is not an ordinary position. It's the greatest position. These are the greatest acharyas who have studied all Vedic scriptures, literatures, Puranas, and they're giving us the essence. And these Vaishnavas are glorifying how glorious it is to be a Vaishnava. Evara Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosai. It's Karuna Karo. Karuna is the word that is implied when the person it's in a form of compassion or mercy, or it is daya, a different type of. So when it gets the intensive, it's got the other person who has nothing to, it cannot depend. At that time, when someone shows him a favor, that time this word is utilized, karuna, because the other person does not have, he cannot do anything. When the person is saved, that is the karuna. You can say karuna, daya, kripa. So karuna. So evara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. Patita pavana toma bina kehu nai. So you are the patit pavan. Vaishnavas are the patit pavans. He says, Jahara nikate gele papa dure jai. just being the close proximity of a Vaishnava, Papa dure jai, all sins will go away. He gives an example of Emono doyala Prabhu keva kotha. Gangara parasa hoile. He gives an example. The Ganga is very pure. It purifies individual. But to get purification from Ganga, you have to travel to the Ganga. You have to take off your clothes and you have to dip in. Whereas Vaishnava, just by having a darshan from a distance, Gangara Parasha Hoila Paschate Pavan. After dipping in, bathing in, going in, traveling, making all the trouble, then you'll get purification of get the benefit. But he says, Darsana Pavitra Koro ei tomar gun. Simply by seeing the great Vaishnava, the person is purified. So like that, the Narottam Das gives us how exalted position of the Vaishnava it is, and not to offend a Vaishnava is one of the instructions that we are learning in this particular section. So I would like to end here. So if any questions or comments, please feel so, and corrections. And yes, bro.
One more comment is Lord Hanuman.
Hanumanji.
He burned. He was angry.
Oh, yes. Yeah, another anger, the example of Mahatma Prabhu is mentioning that how anger, which is the negative vice we have, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, anger is one of them. So anger is utilized. The example is given is that Hanuman. He got angry when Ravana created a trouble and burned Lanka. Yes. Yes, Mataji.
I'm just thinking how difference between Daksha and Sattva. Daksha, although is supposed to be male and more intelligent, he couldn't think of the pros and consequences of his aggressive reaction and offensive behavior. But Sati, despite being really hurt and having that emotional reaction, she was still able to think about the pros and consequences, and he checked those spirits to harm Daksha, because I think it was mentioned on previous class, because that will be not so good for Shiva. Like she was able to think of the pros and consequences, whereas Daksha wasn't.
Yes. As Mataji is mentioning that, as yesterday Janita Prabhu mentioned, that there are different processes when the blasphemy of the Vaishnava is present, or if you are in the thing, there are different things we can do. One of the things is to just close your ears and go. If you're able to, you can convince or try to defeat the arguments or convince the persons with the Shastra. And if you're not in a position to do that, then you leave. And others were to cut the tongues. If you're a Brahmana, normally you by your knowledge, you're able to convince the person, and then that nullifies it. If you're a Kshatriya, you cannot convince, and if you're a Kshatriya, then you can use to cut. Actually, Sati will later on. She will give us this what is done in a different status. I was reading my. Let's see. Okay. Sati continue. This is in text 17. That will come later on. So if one hears it is a responsible person blaspheme the master or controller of the region, one should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. But if one able to kill, then one should be forced. One should by force cut the blasphemer's tongue and kill the offender. And after that, one should give up his own life. So this is Sati actually will do that. Yes, because the first one is for Brahmana, which actually can defeat by a Shastra. Second one for Kshatriya, and then the Vaishya and Shudra. If he can't do any of these, they simply should be able to give up the body. So yeah, it's quite.
One you said Vaishnava. Another point to note in this section is position of Shiva.
Yes. So yes, as you're right, Prabhu. Yeah. See, we've been hearing that the even Prabhupada makes it a point in the purport that Vaishnavanam yatha sambho. Vaishnava, the Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. Nimnagamam yatha Ganga. So the of all the flowing waters or river, Ganga is the highest. Devanam achyuto yatha. So all the devas or the achyuta, the Lord Krishna or Vishnu are the highest. Vaishnavanam yatha Sambhu. Of all the Vaishnavas, Sambhu is the highest. And similarly, the Bhagavatam Purana, after all Puranas, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the highest. That is it is mentioned in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 12th canto. So yes, Lord Shiva is a very exalted position. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is not to be offended. Yes, any other points? Okay, we will end here. Kantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Kartik Vrata ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.